Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. Today I'm going to talk to you about two different things. I'm going to talk to you about Egyptian God Khonsu, the the Egyptian god that is extremely powerful that most of us probably don't know who it is. So we're going to talk about him. We're also going to talk about galactic parasites and how these two topics combine. How these two topics come together. Okay, so first let's talk about Konsu. So his name is spelled Khonsu, Konsu, and he is an Egyptian god. Uh, Let me give you some basics about him, and then I want to tell you how I know him, how I interact with him. So if you were to look up information on Konsu, which I did, I had to Google it and actually let me pull it up so I have it for you. Um, So he's an Egyptian god. He's known for being an Egyptian god of the moon, also of healing, fertility, things like that. But let me give you the real information because what you find on the internet is normally at least partially accurate, but it's not always the full story. So, Konsu, this I did find on the internet, and this is perfect, and that's why I'm going to read it to you. Konsu can manipulate mystic energies for supernatural effects, such as interdimensional teleportation, aka he's a god of time, telepathy, healing the injured, resurrection, earthquakes, and to grant superhuman powers to mortal beings. Although whoever wrote that doesn't know what they're talking about because there's nothing, I don't know if there's such a thing as superhuman because everything human is super. Now we know. Anyways, um, so Konsu is god of the moon, god of healing, god of time. The way Susan and I know Konsu, Susan, my business partner at Orange Light Energy, is, and this is a long backstory, so I'm going to try to actually not backstory it at all. We were made aware through interactions Konsu started having, actually with my husband of all people, that's true story, um, that there was such thing as a master healer, and that master healers are individuals who have a relationship with Konsu, whether they realize it or not. So there are lots and lots of healers on Earth, right? Energy healers, I should say. Um, Maybe not even energy healers. I'll just say healers. There's lots of healers on Earth, but there are only certain people who are able to be a master healer, which is someone who's working with Konsu, that Konsu has granted them these powers. So if you are a master healer, you are always a master healer. There's a symbol on top of Konsu. It's like a crescent moon and like a full moon. And that symbol is a symbol that I can see on the forehead of people who are master healers. It's actually it's like just lines pretty much, but it glows. Light comes off of it. Um, so master healers, someone who works with Konsu. Uh, in the past, I've seen Konsu. He's helped with healing me a million times. He is a incarnation of Metatron. He is, in my experience thus far, he's been pretty quiet, to be honest. He works with lightning. He's a million times before he's come up to me. I'll be like laying down and he'll go to the bottom of my feet, and through the bottom of my feet, he'll like shoot lightning up there and it'll like make my body jump, and he's doing something. But his healing is not what I would call gentle. Powerful, yes. Gentle, no. At least that's my experience. So I'll just give you what I know from me. Metatron, what else do I need to say about Konsu? Anything else? No? Okay. So I'm going to tell you a conversation that I had with Konsu recently. Um, so Konsu says, we have not spoken much, but this will change now. It is time for you to know me better. So pause. He's talking to me, but he's really talking to you. He's really talking to the world because for so long, and still, no one knew and no one knows about Metatron. Not because Metatron hasn't existed since the beginning of time and well before time, but because it wasn't the right time, because the earth was not conscious enough to be ready to bring him into their awareness. Now, the same thing is happening with Konsu, where this is a major Egyptian god that, unless you study Egypt, Egyptian deities, you probably never heard of this guy. He's not your top 5 god or whatever from Egypt, but he is. He is. Um, so it's time for the world to know him better. So I'm going to introduce you to him now, but this will not be the last that you hear of Konsu. So I was kind of joking around with him and I was like asking him, hey, did I, because I was going to ask him if I had a past life with him, but he's a god. So he's not ever really incarnated because he would have always been a god and then he would have had people who like worshipped him. So I was like, hey, did I worship you at some point? And he was like, yes. And he was like, it was like he was telling it yes in all caps. Like he was very into it. And when he said it, I saw fire like sprout up all around him in a circle. And I was just like, he was just emphasizing his answer, but very dramatic, very godlike. If you ever work with a god or goddess, although I don't have as much experience with goddesses, but all of the gods that I've worked with, just trying to think, I think I've only worked with Egyptian gods. Is that maybe true? I don't know. I can't remember any other ones. Anyways, for sure, Egyptian gods are dramatic. And we kind of already know, I think, that Greek gods are dramatic. If you ever read any of those myths or stories, they're mostly true, if not completely true. Um, so yeah, gods are kind of little egotistical, little dramatic, little emotional, little intense. Anyways, so he was emphasizing his answer, and then I felt the muscle in my right quadriceps, my right upper leg, starts twitching. And it was like rhythmic. And I was like, what you doing? What are you doing to my leg? And I looked at my leg in my mind's eye, and I could see this lightning mark on my leg. And as I just mentioned to you, Konsu uses lightning a lot, or what appears to be lightning. Um, so it was almost like a tattoo on my leg. And so I asked him, oh, what does it mean? And he said, you need this energy ongoing in you for a while. You need healing right now. This will keep pumping my healing energy through you. So I was like, okay. And then I start feeling a pain on the left side of my body, opposite side of my body, a little bit like under my rib cage. And it's Konsu. He has put something in me, and I can feel like whatever it is expanding and it's getting larger. It feels like a bubble, and I see it absorbing living things from me. They are galactic parasites. So he's absorbing them from my body, and it's kind of near my solar plexus, but off to the side. And then the discomfort switches, and I could feel it on my back right at my hip level. And it hurts. And I'm like, ow. And then, so he's putting another bubble in there again, that's like absorbing or sucking out these parasites. I feel him at my right foot. He's doing that thing I told you about where he's like, it's the bottom of my foot and he's like sticking, it's like electrocuting me through the center of my foot up my body. So he's doing that. It seems, so when he's doing that, the electricity, it seems to be bringing all the parasites to the surface for him to collect. He zaps me and my body jumps when he strengthens the amount of the lightning that he uses. He was trying to be gentle for a little bit, but then he's like, well, let's just get it done. And he started going a little stronger. So he's working on the left side of me now in the sacral area and in my right leg around the ankle. It hurts a little as they come to the surface to be removed. That's how I know where they are. So they're total different places in my body coming up at different times, and he's like collecting them all. Now he's in my spine, zapping them again. And I was just like, how can I have so many? And then I asked him, is there like a way to do this like faster? Because this actually hurts. This really is uncomfortable. And he says no, but then he takes his hands and he puts both of his hands, one on each of like my legs, like kind of around where my ankle is. He puts his hands down there. And whatever he gave me, it kind of felt like endorphins basically, because he put his hands down and then I was like, oh, okay, the pain's gone. So amazing. And it felt good. Pain goes away almost completely. Not like 100%, but like 90%. So it was amazing. He works on me. He was doing the parasite thing all night long. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go to sleep. In the morning, he is done. All of the parasites are gone, but I was irritable. And so it was probably, now that I think about it, it was probably a combination of these like new moon energies that are swirling around right now. And then also I was detoxing a little bit from this removal of these parasites. So Konsu told me it will only last about a day. He told the truth. It only lasted about a day. And then this is funny. So he's like, it'll only last about a day. And then I kind of look at him and I'm like, because I know he's Metatron. I know he is, his higher self is Metatron. So I told him, is there anything you can do to take it all out for me now? Like to just get all this detox stuff out and so I don't have to be a grouchy grouch. And he was quiet. And because he knows I know that he can do anything he wants to. So I was like, I know you can. I was like challenging him. I know you can help me. Won't you help me? So I felt him against my face, but I wasn't sure what he was doing at first. So I saw his hands there. He was like doing this. And I saw his hands, and his hands were like pulling toxins from me into his hands real slowly. And so it took a while, but after a while of him doing like that, I kind of felt more like myself. He didn't remove all of it. I was still grouchy for that day, but it was a lot better because it was quite bad. And so I asked him if all of these parasites came from just one bad ET. And he's like, yes, which surprised me because I had so many. I was like, man, I must have been attacked 20 times by 20 groups. But he's like, no, it was just all from one. And it was from the Barosians, which is the name for the extraterrestrials that look kind of like the hammerhead sharks with the legs. And so it threw me off because the Barosians, the kind of implant they like to do, like when they put an implant in, they put like these little teeny tiny, they're like shaped like a cube. They're like little robots, basically. They're little metal robots, and they like to put them in your brain tissue where it's like super hard to get them out. And so that's what they do when they do an implant. This is a parasite. So this is like a biological, like living thing. So I start asking questions. I was asking, um, like, do these things have souls? And like Konsu was like, no. Um, and so I was asking, okay, if it's biological and it doesn't have a soul, I was saying, okay, so the cyborgs made them because the cyborgs like to mess around with creation, but because they are not connected to divine, there's no way for their creations to be divine, and they've lost their souls because of the modifications they've made to themselves, and they've lost their connection to divine because of the modifications they've made to themselves. So what they create is soulless, and so it's creepy. But anyways, so Konsu was saying, yes, the cyborgs may make these galactic parasites. And then so I was asking him, will you show me and Susan how to like detect these and remove them? And he's like, yes. It's like the whole point of him bringing it up, right? And so he told me that there are 4 groups, 4 different galactic races that potentially can be giving us these lovely galactic parasites. So the Barosians are one that I mentioned. You can also get them directly from cyborgs, which is probably more rare because usually cyborgs don't like to do the dirty work. They like to send in, well, some other race to do the work for them. The other 2 groups that can give out these parasites and they can also give implants are 2 groups. One of them, the name I was given was Night Watchers. And the second group, the name is Canoids, Canoids. So the Night Watcher ones, that's the ET that I've interacted with a couple times before, where it looks a lot like the alien from the movie Alien. That was from like, I don't know, the 1980s or the 1990s or whatever it was with Sigourney Weaver. Looks very similar to that, except their head is more wide than long. Um, and the other group, the Canoids, they are tan colored. They look like their body is made out of sand almost. It's weird. Some of them look like they have sand like blowing off of them, which is even more confusing, but that's the truth. Their eyes are just like these black holes where the eyes should be, but they aren't. They do not have souls, as you can imagine, only consciousness. So both the Canoids and the Night Watchers are part of the astral realm. They vibrate at a level that is equivalent to the lower portions of the astral realm. So 2D. Yes, 2D is where they're at. Second dimension. So the Canoids can place implants anywhere, usually not in a major chakra. Usually only do 1 per attack. That's for implants, though. The implants, I'll just tell you about the implants they give. Those are meant to cause fear, feelings of powerlessness, feelings of helplessness, nightmares. They give parasites in large batches of very small ones, and they multiply quickly. I'm surprised those aren't the ones I had because I sure did have a lot. Anyways, so Konsu was showing me that when we get these parasites, sometimes they just die out on their own. So he was saying that the parasites create a low frequency, and that low frequency is what these parasites require to live. So the more you live in joy, the less you live in fear or irritation, the more likely that if you get these parasites, that they aren't going to stick around long because they can't. Because if your vibration's high enough, they can't survive. So protecting your thoughts being mindful of your thoughts is the best thing you can do to regulate your frequency and prevent these things from being able to survive. So they're showing me that it's like the equivalent of having a healthy body. So if you have a healthy body and you get infected with like a virus or something like that, you're more likely to fight off that virus if you have a healthy body, right? It's the same kind of concept with these energetic parasites, where if your energy body, if your energy frequency is already healthy, you're probably just going to fight these off and never feel an impact from them. If your vibration is low for whatever reason, they might stick around. If you already have a galactic implant removal session scheduled with Susan and I, or if you already have a Healing with Metatron session scheduled with Susan, we will be able to see and remove parasites, galactic parasites. If you have them, we'll be able to see them and remove them during either one of those sessions. So if you already have that scheduled, we'll take a look at that for you at that time. Susan is the master healer of the two of us. So she is the one with that mark from Konsu on her forehead, and that is why she does all the healing for us. She is the one that does the implant and parasite removal, regardless of what session we're doing for you. And then they repair, her and Konsu or her and Metatron will repair any damage that's done by parasites or implants. So let's just talk about your frequency real quick. They wanted me to remind you things that you can do to keep your frequency kind of healthy and higher. So just reminders. Make sure that you do things that bring you joy. Make sure you have things every day that you're doing. It doesn't have to be all day. It could be for 5 minutes. Just something that you're really excited about, that really fulfills you and makes you happy. Make sure that you're mindful of the beneficial things that are in your life. Sometimes it's easy to focus on the things that we wish we had or we wish was, but it's not. And having that perspective is going to make you focus on the fact that you feel like you're missing something, and that's going to lower your vibration, lower your frequency. If you're focused more on all the wonderful things that you do have, then that is going to help keep your thoughts in the right space. Take care of yourself and love yourself so that you do not feel like you're in need, which can then lead to you feeling resentful towards others, because a lot of times resentment is the result of you having an expectation that someone else is going to fulfill a need or a want for you. And when they don't, then you resent them for that. So if you're already fulfilling your own needs and wants, then you don't have that need external from you. And then that'll help remove that possibility of getting into resentment, which is a low vibration. Meditate or have quiet time to allow yourself time to release traumas that surface. Find ways to regulate your chakras on a daily basis. It's really easy to regulate your chakras every single day. There are free videos on YouTube. I like to listen to singing bowls. I have singing bowls. You don't have to buy your own. They're expensive. But I will literally hit my singing bowls every day to just balance myself out. And then it's kind of cool because when you're using a sound, special frequency to balance your chakras, it's also balancing the chakra of the room and the objects within the room. I have a lot of crystals, so basically when I go through and I do all my singing bowls, it just clears all my crystals for me. So there's lots of free videos on YouTube of people using singing bowls, so you can just watch one of those for a couple minutes and it does the same thing. Doesn't have to be singing bowls, can be chanting. There are videos that are set to certain frequencies. I do not, for the life of me, know how to say it's like solfeggio. I don't know. Look up chakra frequencies, something like that, healing frequencies. You'll pull up lots of cool videos. Um, so there's really no reason why you can't be in balance every day, and so that's going to help you to have a better mindset, better behavior, better thoughts, better frequency. Also, we have, I don't think anybody knows this, to be completely honest, but there's an entire section on my and Susan's website that is dedicated to all this information about ways that you can improve your frequency or just improve your life, really. So it's called empowerment. So if you go to our website, there's like a bunch of headers. It's like services, about us, contact us, or whatever it says. One of them says empowerment. If you go to that, there's all this information, not as much as I would like it to be, but it's a really good start. There's information on releasing trauma, releasing guilt, releasing shame, releasing grief, um, bringing joy into your life. All just tons of different things. So if you're interested, it's there. If you're interested, what else? Yeah. So if you're interested, just check it out, and then I'll put information about our website in the description. So that's really it. So Konsu, the super powerful Egyptian god guide that you never knew was always around. And like I said, this won't be the last of him. He works with Susan and I, probably mostly Susan, because of course she's our master healer. So when she does healings, he will show up and work with her as needed. Um, so it won't be the last that you hear from him. From me, this is the first, so you get that kind of introduction to him. But you're going to start hearing his name more and more. He's going to start coming into the consciousness of everyone. But cool guy, amazing abilities. He is kind of, for me, he's still a little bit kind of quiet and mysterious, to be honest. But that's just how he rolls. That's how he likes it. So I don't know, but we'll learn more about him as we go, and I will share things with you. So until next time, I will see you guys later.